But now I want your calls on something different. Are you proud of Britain? 0207 862 2222 is the number. A new study by researchers at King's College London and a polling company Ipsos has revealed that national pride has plummeted, with society more divided than ever. Let's take a look. So we have the figures here. 46% of people feel proud of Britain, so that's less than 50%. 50% say culture has changed too fast. Doesn't actually say whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And 48% say they want the country the way it used to be. So, do you still take pride in your country, or if you believe, or perhaps you believe that life was better here in the past? Let us know your views on this. Narinder, do you think this is accurate?
Probably, yeah.
Is this a reflection of what you see?
I think so. It makes me feel sad. I just think that when people say they want the country the way it used to be, I get that. Remember in the 90s when we were all proud, we were all happy, we waved that flag. There was a sense of pride. We love Britain, and we should always love Britain. But the problem is, with the way the country's going, honestly, it's depressing.
What do you think the reason is for the plummet in pride?
I think the way that politicians in particular and the media are normalising racism, division, immigrants, this obsession with the small boats. I think, and the British people don't want that. We don't want to see. I think it started with Brexit. That caused so much division. And just when people begin to get over that, we've now got the war on immigrants. And that is causing so much division, so many fights. And again, the politicians, the way they're talking. Back in the day when I was younger, in the 90s, I'm a Labour supporter. But if Tories came into power, I didn't get scared. I didn't feel fear. But now, the thought of a Tory or Reform coming into power, I'm filled with fear. And that's not right. Because I think, actually, brown and black communities are fair game. They're targeted immediately if they come into power, whereas Tories were never like that back in the day.
OK, Narinder, that's your view. Claudia, we're going to get your view after the break, as well as taking your calls on this. Before the break, we asked, what has Collins Dictionary named its word of the year? And the answer is vibe coding. Oh, I'm so down with the kids. Welcome back. We are live on 5. Narinder and Claudia still here with me. So vibe coding is basically creating an app or a website by describing what you're looking for to AI, and then that creates it for you, so everyone can do it now. And that's called vibe coding. The others made the short list. I did think they were entirely made up. Coolcation means going on holiday to a cool place, meaning temperature-wise the climate's cooler. And go on, you're young and trendy. Broligarchy. Thank you, Ella. My access to the youth. Broligarchy, which basically describes the owners of the world's biggest technology companies. So I think we know who they are.
Yeah,
so there you go. That's a bit of a youth education for you. Don't forget, later we're asking, should gyms be free for young people, and would you clone your pet? That's the question we're asking later. But now let's get back to the debate and whether you are proud of Britain. And Claudia, we didn't hear your point of view. What's your thoughts? Are you proud? Do you recognise the stats we spoke about?
I am very proud of Britain, very proud to be British. I do recognise the stats. I think it's sad that people don't feel pride in our country, but I also think it's no surprise. Narinder, you talked about fear, and I think, this fear of like a right-wing government. And I think, sadly, we live in a day where fear is used like a currency in the media. And when I say the media, I don't just mean on TV and in newspapers, I mean social media. I think, these big tech companies know that they keep eyes and therefore attention on their app or on their story. People are drawn to things that they're afraid of. And I think...
Prevent have had... The Prevent have just put their statistics out yesterday, and there's been an increase, a far bigger increase in far-right extremism than there is any other extremism in this country. Yeah. And that is because, I'm agreeing with you in a way, social media.
I think they're basically trading off this fear and this perception of change being negative, and also perception of the country being in a terrible situation. So, for example, safety in the UK and crime stats are at their lowest since records began. but there is a perception that we are living in the most dangerous time since records began.
Could that because Elon Musk reckons that the Cotswolds is probably the most dangerous destination in the world?
But I seriously do think that the social media companies and the tech companies have a lot to answer for.
I agree,
because I
Claudia.
think they make people feel afraid and feel fearful by pushing out this narrative that the country is dangerous, it's terrible.
And it's actually it's simply not true.
So for me, I understand why people aren't feeling proud.
But there is some facts to it as well, though, because actually, Claudia, you say that it's just fear-mongering. I completely agree that social media have got something to answer for. But 3 Sikh women have been attacked in a matter of weeks. 2 Sikh women have been raped, and a Sikh woman was attacked with a taser. In a matter of months, in about 8 weeks, 3 Sikh women have been attacked. So I completely agree social media's got a lot to answer for when they put out fear-mongering. But at the same time, we are living in a society where brown and black people are being targeted. And going back to these stats, people are just like, you know what, we're a divided country and we don't want to be divided. We want to be united.
All right, OK, well, let's go to the calls and see what you think at home. We're going to start in Inverness. We're going to speak to Neely. Do you recognise these statistics? 46% feel proud of Britain. That means that 54% don't?
I don't know about that. But what I would say is that I mean, I'm not British. I'm not English. I am Scottish. Okay. And anybody that calls me British or English is offensive. Because
I mean, you are British, though. Like, by fact, you are British. Because if you're Scottish, Scottish is part of Great Britain, and so even though you deny your Britishness, whether you like it or not, you're British. You're not English.
What Claudia is saying is that if you look at your passport, it's not a Scottish passport; it is a British passport. But presumably, you would quite like a Scottish passport.
Yes, I would, and absolutely I would. But what I would also say is that I remember when we went back and Scotland we were coming up to our independence referendum. We were promised it, and we were promised by then Tory Prime Minister David Cameron, if Scotland voted to stay in the Union, we would our EU membership would be protected. It would have lower bills, and we would have better living standards. Well, what's happened?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with elections, and I think we see that not just in the referendum for that, maybe for Brexit, some people feel, and just general elections. There are quite a lot of promises made that can't be fulfilled in reality in the long term. But you're picking up on a point, actually, that might be included in these statistics. There is quite a lot of people in Scotland, there is quite a lot of people in Wales and potentially Northern Ireland too, that feel like they are different to the rest of Britain and don't want to be British as part of that divide. It's segregation. And that could be increasing those percentages. Neely, thank you very much for your call. Desmond from London, are you proud of Britain? Not proud to be British, but proud of Britain?
Well, my ethnicity is from the Caribbean, but I was born in England, so I'm proud to say that I'm of British nationality. But it's embarrassing to see that over the years, all what is happening now to actually divide societies and break up communities based on what politicians and what is being done.
What are you talking about specifically here?
Basically, we had a referendum about the Brexit issue. Now, a lot of things seems to be saying, oh, immigrants are causing all these issues and various other issues. The reason why Brexit is in the mess is because a lot of politicians were saying that if we leave the EU, we can just get free trade with all these other countries. No, we can't. You have to pay taxes to be members. When you're members of a certain country or you're in their trade business, you have to pay your taxes based on what you're importing and exporting. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot is being blamed to, oh, immigrants cause this. And what is happening is, even if when you look on what's on the TV and social media and a lot of these social networks have a lot to blame, because sometimes there's a lot of information being given out there to the public that younger generation may not know that this is true or not true. So they're taking it as it's good news.
So
A lot of it's fake news.
We're blaming fake news and social media.
But I think Desmond, Desmond, do you find as Caribbean, and like you said, you're British, and I'm British born, this, oh my God, every single day you're fighting. Well, actually, you're not British, you're not English. You might be British born, but it doesn't make you English. That shouldn't be happening. We're all British.
Also,
all British,
that must be few and far between, because no intelligent person that I know would say to a British person, because of the colour of your skin, that you're not British.
Robert Jenrick said 2 weeks ago he went to Handsworth and this was not integration and they weren't British. It was ridiculous and it's making people...
He said that they weren't British.
No,
he didn't say that.
Sorry.
This is what happens, though. You can't take the feeling of what you feel from it and make that the truth.
No, but hang on.
That's not what happens.
He said they're not integrating. How does he know by looking at someone they're not integrating? He was suggesting that doesn't make them British. If I put a sorry on now, that doesn't make me not British. I'm still British.
He didn't say that, though.
He said, well, how did he know by looking at them they're not integrating?
Because he went to...
How did he know by looking at them?
Because he went to an area and he said there wasn't one white face.
So they're not integrating because of that. How does that mean they're not integrating?
Well,
there you go.
I think he said that it wasn't as mixed as he would have assumed it would have been. But that's his view, and that's another debate in and of itself as to whether that was an appropriate thing to say.
And then Sarah Potin from Reform saying, actually, there's too many black and brown people on ads.
Yeah, and she got absolutely slated for that, quite rightly so.
But not by Reform voters. They loved it.
Nigel Farage said he didn't like it.
But he didn't say it was racist.
No, he said it wasn't. She wasn't.
He said he didn't think it was racist, but he just didn't like it. Now, that's not acceptable. It doesn't make black and brown people feel British.
All right, Desmond, thank you very much for your call. John from North Yorkshire, getting lots of calls on this. What's your thoughts? Are you proud of Britain?
Hi, Storm and panel. Yes and no. It was probably one of the greatest countries in the world historically. The culture is going... Well, the culture doesn't exist anymore, in my opinion.
What is a British culture, John?
We're sliding downhill very, very quickly. Very quickly, the royal family, not just about Prince Charles, not just about Prince Andrew's issue, but all the other problems that we've had since the death of Lady Di. We still don't know the answer to that. Okay. The police are becoming more corrupt.
Institutionally sexist and institutionally racist.
And as a 66-year-old, we're getting more and more... Can I finish, please, Storm? As a 66-year-old, we're getting lack of respect from younger people. People are less kind, less caring. I also think the politics, doing a U-turn in a manifesto, which we think is going to be happening, that's because they didn't plan in the first place correctly. We've got the world's most expensive domestic fuel, gas and electric, doubling the price of water. But the good points, we're one of the few countries in the world that can drink tap water freshly. Other good points, I love flying over the country. Beautiful green fields, villages, stone houses people are living in that are 500 years old. Medieval Britain is still here. And I think it's a very beautiful country. And if I can just steal the lines from a very famous traveller, Mark Twain, Britain is a beautiful country, except it's spoilt by its peoples, its cuisine and its climate. And I quite agree with that.
What's wrong with our cuisine?
Sorry.
Okay, the climate's a bit iffy, but seriously, what's wrong with the cuisine?
Another debate tomorrow.
Pardon?
Another debate tomorrow.
What is wrong with Britain's cuisine? Okay, John,
I think John's point about that sort of declining trust and confidence in our institutions is a major part of this conversation. People don't trust the government. They don't, like a lot of people don't trust the police. They don't trust the NHS as, not the people working in the NHS, but the NHS as a system is constantly under fire.
But so isn't this
the prison system's just letting people go?
Exactly.
But
so I think that declining confidence in our country and the ability of the government to run our country divides us even further.
But doesn't that come back to your social media, which was an excellent point? Actually, Labour government have had many achievements. They're doing really well, but it's not been pushed out there.
They're not doing well.
They are doing really, really well. They've had many achievements.
Go on,
but they're not big.
You did the job.
Come on. Okay.
Come on.
So, breakfast clubs, right? Okay.
Have they been rolled out?
Yeah, they've been rolled out.
Okay.
So they're helping free school meals. There's so many achievements that they have had.
So many.
I will do a video later. I can't have it on top of my head.
They're not posting them on social media,
or reporting them to anyone.
Mainstream, they are on their social media, but mainstream media, which is predominantly right-wing, are not shouting at the rooftops about what Starmer is achieving.
Do you know Keir Starmer constantly is posting about ID cards every day. ID cards. That seems to be one thing that he's...
Let's stick to this topic. But I can't forget where my head was now.
John, thank you. We're going to speak to another John now, this time from Wiltshire. Are you proud of Britain?
No.
Really? Are green spaces? Old stone buildings? Historic buildings?
No. I'm an ex-soldier,
Okay.
and if I was ever called up again, I'd fight for the king, but I certainly would fight for this country, for the simple reason, if you look at, like all the utility companies, steel, practically, everything's partly owned by foreigners. There's not much left for the English, to be honest with you.
Well, Scottish, Northern Irish and Welsh as well, John. But I take your point,
Scottish and Irish.
I suppose why our utility companies are invested in by foreign companies and foreign individuals is because there might not be enough investors in this country to do that job. And actually, foreign investment is what gets this economy going. Is that not a good thing? We need it. That's what I mean. Rachel Reeves would love more foreign investment.
Well, foreign investment is one thing, but if you look at practically all the football clubs, I mean, of foreigners, you've got ITV now. It's all been discussed about where it's going to be bought by the Americans, and that's for the water, gas, electric, because they're owned by foreign countries. I mean, they couldn't care less about what the price of electric, gas and water is.
Well, it's a balancing act, isn't it? We either get foreign investment and we use that money to boost the economy, or we take it under public ownership. The utilities, we could do that, take it under public ownership, and it may not be as beneficial for the economy.
More
we
strikes.
may find ourselves for less and potentially more strikes, John. But so our utilities, maybe the prisons letting prisoners out and institutions not operating in the way that we would hope they would is the thing that you think people are not proud of, John?
Well, that's right. I mean,
Okay.
Successive governments have just let this country down by being ex-armed forces. I mean, the amount of cuts we had and our equipment was second rate, to be honest with you.
But John, can I just say that, because I've heard a lot of people saying, the government, this is 14 years of Tory government underfunding. And when people say, well, no, you can't keep saying that, we can keep saying that. It's been 14 years. Labour can't correct in a year and a half 14 years of underfunding. So the blame lies entirely in Tories' lap.
What time limit do we give on them? At what point do we say, okay, they've had enough time now?
Well, 14 years, I think you're going to have an equal amount of.
So we're going to have to wait
at least
14.
So we're going to
have to wait 14 years of Labour trying to ruin our country before we go. Now they've had a chance.
It was ruined by the Tories. 14 years of underfunding and destruction.
Starting to see that division you were talking about earlier on.